Hi everyone, thanks for tuning in. So today's video, this here is how to make a mushroom pie. Hear the birdies? Can you hear the birdies? I don't know. Anyway, today's video is how to make a mushroom pie. This particular edit is designed for people who have experience in the kitchen, who in general know what they're doing, but are just looking for a mushroom pie recipe. And this is who this one's pitched for. So first up, we're looking for between 500 and 525 grams of quartered chestnut mushrooms. And then one roughly chopped cannonball onion, and if you don't have a cannonball onion, 2 large brown onions. And 4 or 5 reasonably sized garlic cloves, frozen or fresh. And 1 large or 2 medium carrots, which is anywhere between 200 and 250 grams, and we want that roughly chopped. For convenience, I use frozen celery, but we want 2 roughly chopped stalks in the same bowls or carrots. And 100 grams of frozen sweet corn. Then 80 milliliters of a cheap white wine. And we also require 80 milliliters of vegetable stock, whichever brand you prefer. I use OXO. And 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce. And table salt is 1 teaspoon. And ground black pepper is half a teaspoon. Plain flour or all-purpose flour for our American friends, we need 50 grams. Dried thyme is 3/4 of a teaspoon. Light brown sugar, we need half a tablespoon, which coincidentally is also 5 grams. Vegan, or if you must, dairy butter, we're looking for 35 grams. Roughly chop the garlic now defrosted and add to the onion. And the last bit of our preparation, set aside your ready-made puff or crusty pastry at room temperature on a floured surface for at least 20 minutes. Melt the butter at a medium heat, and once fully melted, turn the temperature up to high. And now add our 80 milliliters of water to our stock cube. Once the butter is bubbling due to the high temperature, we're going to add both our onion and our garlic, and we're going to fry them for 3 minutes until golden. And now that the onions are caramelizing and they've turned golden, we're going to add the carrot, the celery and the sweet corn, and we're going to cook that for 4 minutes at a reduced temperature of medium high. So we're turning the temperature down just slightly, give everything a stir together and cook for 4 minutes. And whilst that's cooking off, you can organise your coconut milk or your vegan cream. We're looking for 2.5 tablespoons, whichever one you choose to use. And now we want to add the quartered mushrooms, and we're going to saute these in the mixture for around 5 minutes. And just be sure to give everything a good mix together as the mushrooms reduce down in size and cook and start absorbing all those flavours. And now we're going to add our 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce, and we're going to use this to deglaze the pan. Switch to a flat-edged wooden spoon over your silicone spatula and just scrape along the bottom to help the soy sauce deglaze. And continue to cook the mushroom mixture for 5 minutes, continually using your wooden spoon just to help deglaze the bottom of the pan. And once the mushrooms and soy sauce have had their 5 minutes, we're going to add our 80 milliliters of white wine. This is your backup deglazing option. If the soy sauce hasn't completely deglazed the bottom, the white wine will do it, and we're going to cook the white wine in the mixture for 2 minutes. And now we can add our 80 milliliters of our vegetable stock, and then we're going to follow that up with all of the rest of our ingredients. Which means we are adding our plain flour, we're adding our cream or our coconut milk, depending on which we've chose to use. We're going to add our light brown sugar, our thyme and our salt and our pepper. And then we're going to mix everything together until it's fully mixed. And once fully brought together, we're going to cook for about 1 or 2 minutes. This part does not take long at all, just until we see everything start to thicken and come together. And just as we see here, over those 1 to 2 minutes, the filling really has thickened up, and that's it perfect now for transferring into the pot that we're going to be putting in the oven. Now, the pot I'm using here isn't the very best dish that I could be using. It's a little bit too deep, but it still does the job really well, and of all the pots I own, it's the best one for the job. But if you had something a little bit shallower, I would go with that. So again, from here, what we want to do is we want to take and we want to transfer our mixture from the pot we've been cooking it in to the one it's going to go into the oven. Using the lid for the pot that you're putting in the oven as a size guide, take and roll out your puff pastry. So it's a few centimetres, give or take, larger than the pot lid. And from here, we're looking to take and transfer our pastry into the pot that we're using. We're going to press it down nice and tight and flat to the surface of our filling, and then we're going to press it onto the edges of the pot. If it's one that's slightly lower and shallower, you don't have as much coming up the outside of the pot as I've got here. You just need to work with the size of the pot you've got. And once the pastry is in place, we're going to take and cut 5 perpendicular lines down the centre of the actual pastry. We don't want to go right to the very edge. Leave about a centimetre or 2 from the edge as you're cutting from one side to the other. But we're cutting 5 perpendicular lines down and across it. And now take and give a right good brush over the pastry, just so that we've got a nice good even coating across all of it. And into a preheated oven of 200 degrees Celsius for 30 minutes on the middle shelf it goes. And if cooked to perfection, we'll have a lovely golden brown pastry. It'll have a really nice rise on it, and all the sogginess will be gone. Although I like a little bit of sogginess in my pastry, the missus doesn't, and if you're doing it right, it shouldn't have it. So if done correctly, that's what we'll have. Now, doesn't that look good? Yummy, yummy, yum, yum. Now, depending on how greedy you're being, this can serve 6 portions, or it can serve 3. We tend to make it as 6, but there's sometimes, you know what, you're just being really, really greedy, and let's just divide that into 3 portions. But it's a really lovely filling pie. Take something like a cake knife and slide it around the outside just to break the seal of the pastry, and then we're just going to take our knife and we're going to cut through into whatever size of portions it is we're going to be going with. A really sharp knife works best because it is a flaky pastry we've made and we don't want to completely destroy it. And it's not the most conventional of tools for serving, but I find that a fish slice works really well for getting in and pulling out the exact size of the portions, and that way there's not going to be any fight over who's getting the most filling. Not that that happens anyway, but hey, let's create some dramatic tension. So if you want, use a spoon, but as I say, the fish slice, it comes in really handy for getting straight down and getting that sort of equal portions out of it. So here we go, 1 mushroom pie. I'll try and not live up to my name of hanger management, because this is a very late dinner when I was promised somebody would be home an awful lot earlier. So dinner time. 1 mushroom pie. There's a real rich depth to the sauce within the pie. We all know what a puff pastry is like, so don't need to go into too much depth in that. Just make sure you cook it through properly. There's a real breadth of flavour to the mushrooms. It's a real nice, hearty meal is the way I'd probably describe this one. So, not going to labour it because I'm bloody starving. So, I'm going to go and eat my dinner, and you guys stay safe, take care. Thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, thanks for the wee thumbs up things, and stay safe. All the best.